So like Warren, I also grew up during the apartheid era. I'm 50 years old this year. And I don't look it, so we'll move on from there because that's fantastic. We can talk about my regime afterwards, what products I use, and what doctors I have, because trust me, it takes a village. Gina knows this all too well. So I grew up in Cape Town. I went to a private Jewish day school, and as much as our education included so much of South Africa's history, and I'd like to think that potentially because it was a private school, maybe we were exposed to a lot more of the actual history. But at the same time, for me, being Jewish, we were always taught, it was always instilled in us from a very young age, that because of what the collective Jewish history has been, being ostracized and being kicked out of every major country in the world, being blamed for every major disaster in the world, obviously being in the Holocaust and Genocide Centre doesn't go unnoticed by me. Many of us had family that either fled before the war or after the war, settled in South Africa. But as much as I knew about what was happening in South Africa at the time, being in a school where predominantly there were only white people, it wasn't because of apartheid. It was because, well, if you weren't Jewish, why would you come to my school? And so in my head, as much as I knew about apartheid, it didn't kind of resonate because I was Jewish. So if you were a person of color, it wasn't because you weren't allowed to come to my school, it was because, well, I'm Jewish, and if you're not Jewish, why would you come here? And in my world at the time, most people of the Jewish faith were white. And then when I matriculated and I left the kind of bubble of Cape Town and I went to study at what was then Technikon in Pretoria, it was the first time that I finally felt like I had been exposed to an entire world. And what I love about the democracy of South Africa 30 years from 1994 to where we are now is that now I look at my circle of friends and colleagues and associates, and everyone is black, white, gay, straight, binary, non-binary, Jewish, Muslim, Indian, Chinese, Lebanese, Greek, Portuguese. It's such a licorice, all sorts of people. And I love that about being South African, because I feel like with the privilege of traveling overseas a lot and being able to experience the world and other cultures and being in the live events industry and working within that space internationally, I feel like there is no place where in South Africa I can have the kind of wide circle of friends and colleagues and associates and clients that are as diverse, because I don't really see that anywhere else.